All right, everybody, I'm going to welcome someone. Her name is Anna Andreazza, and Anna is someone that you guys are all going to get to know and love because of all the work that she does for the Mito community. I have a question that's in regards to, I understand that that creating and building MITONet and the Canadian Mitochondrial Research Network has been a big focus for you. Can you tell us why and how it was created?
There was a lot of parts to answer that simple question, how those two diseases were connected, bipolar disorder and mitochondrial disease, that we could not answer with a simple lab. We had to bring more people together. We had to bring the researchers doing basic mitochondrial research, the researchers that were doing mitochondrial disease researchers, the bipolar disorder community, the psychiatric community, the neurology community, the industry community. So we want to build a network that brought everyone together with one single goal: understand how the mitochondria itself play a role in any disease. Completely disease agnostic, not only focusing one single disease, but now understanding the role of mitochondria as a central key player in many diseases. If we can accomplish that, it will be transformation. It kind of becomes a paradigm shift on how medicine approaches treatment to disease.
So I think you answered this, but I was just going to let you kind of maybe summarize in a more succinct way. What is the vision? What is your vision for MitoNet?
To transform mitochondrial health.
Just straight up. Wonderful. Okay, so there it is. So MitoCanada was one of the founding members of MitoNet. What role do you think the patient, community, and MitoCanada play in this innovative initiative?
A central role, because they are the patient voices, and we need to understand what they want the researchers to be looking for. If we don't connect to the patient community in a meaningful way, and the way that I always say, we are a community of equals. Everyone actually have the same voice. The voice of the scientist, the voice of the clinician, the voice of patients must be heard equally. So to have MitoCanada working with us is essential, because we bring that voice of the patient community to be heard equally to my voice, to the voice of the clinicians, and to the voice of the industry.
I'm going to shift a little bit. I've got a question here that Blaine, so most of these questions, just so everyone knows, I get these questions from Blaine, and so and I learn every time I'm reading these questions that and also listening to the responses of the interviewers. And so Blaine isn't as the data is playing a more important role and ability to understand diseases. I understand the development of a data informatics platform called MitoCode is a key foundational element of future research, therapies, and patient interaction. What is MitoCode and why is it important?
Yeah, the MitoCode is this data integration. It brings the patient data from the demographics, from the clinical to the biochemical data, all together in one single place. What this makes is actually for me as a scientist to be able to go back inside the database and look to that gigantic database and ask a question that I could never have been able to ask it if I didn't have access to a database that is formulated together. Another pivotal role of MitoCode is to know who we are, what is the prevalence of mitochondrial disease in Canada, in the world, what is the connection of the comorbidities between mitochondrial disease and psychiatric conditions, neurological disease, and mitochondrial disease. Once we can find those connections and find the right epidemiology data, we know the disease burden in each country. That is essential to form policies and to push the government to put more resources towards a disease treatment, or more resources into a treatment, or to say supplements should be equalized in Canada and made free for everyone that needs that supplement, that suffers of that condition. So all that can come out of this data research integration that we called MitoCode.
All right. So we're gonna. I have another question that's in regard to
Yeah.
using Mito at the front of the. So I heard that MitoNet is about to launch a podcast. Can you tell
Yes.
us who will be featured in the first season and some of the topics we can
Ooh.
expect from the season? I'm looking for some
Oh,
teasers.
yes. Yes, I can actually.
Okay.
We have recorded about 10 sessions already. Blaney is featured in one of our Mito podcasts.
Okay.
The questions are equal to everyone that we interview, and it goes from what do you do, what is your background, what is the next steps, what do you want from us, why is important to collaborate it, and how can we become a better community to answer the questions and the needs of patients. How it work, it's gonna be launched in June, hopefully by the first week of June. We might run a little bit of a difficult, might have to is up to come. But once it's launched, you will have 3 ways of visualizing or audio visualizing the podcast. One is only audio, one is audio and video, the other one is an infographics. The infographics is basically a document that you can just look at it and understand everything that was said during that 10 minutes interview. So if you like to listen, you listen. If you like to read, you read. If you like the both of them, then you look both of them together. And we hope this will actually bring the researcher community, the patient community, and the advocacy community together. So we have law policy makers talking. We have renowned scientific community. We have clinicians and we have patient advocacy talking. We have 10 episodes so far, and we hope to get to 100 episodes by the end of the year.
That's 10 episodes. That sounds great. And we're
That's 90 to go.
Yeah, that's an ambitious project as well, just on its own. So
Yeah,
I
it
understand that that's not the only thing that you're doing. I understand that MitoNet is about to launch some research grants as well in
Yes.
June. Can you tell us a little bit more about them?
Yes, I can. So, MitoNet is soon to be changing its name. I can't tell you yet what is our next name to be, but I can tell you that it will serve the better purpose. MitoNet it's a good name, but there are some competitions in terms of the name. It has other networks that use a similar name, so we want to become a little bit more unique. And we also were very, very fortunate to receive a donation that enabled MitoNet, soon to be called a different name, to become a strategic initiative of the University of Toronto. What that means that we got this pool of money that was matched by the university on the entire, and we now have capabilities to fund research for the community. All the money for the donation plus the money from the University of Toronto will be transformed in 3 ways. One is grants that will be supporting scientists and clinicians to do groundbreaking research. And the second one is to empower our fellows. It can be a clinician scientist, it can be a scientist working in a laboratory, it can be a patient advocate that wants to be in law, that wants to be in policymaker, it can be a law student. All of those will be empowered by this donation and support from the University of Toronto. And the third pillar is promoting an awareness of mitochondria and health. And that will be done by podcast, via our website, workshops that will be starting running monthly in September, and our annual conference that hope was planned to happen in person in Ottawa in this year. But due to the situation that we are encountering now in the world, we made the very difficult decision of moving to an online platform and reconvening in an in-person in the next year, and then moving to Calgary with the Blaine's help to have our 2021 conference, and then 2022 in Vancouver.
I have two more questions, and the first one,
Yes.
as part of that, is what is your vision on what the mitochondrial medicine landscape will look like in 10 years from now?
Oh, that every doctor everywhere in Canada, everywhere in the world will take serious that actually mitochondria is important. Many years ago, actually not that many, only 50 years ago, we didn't use to measure cholesterol when someone would come to a family doctor, but now it's routine. Everyone measures their cholesterol to prevent to have a heart attack or my goal is to actually get in the next 5 to 10 years to convince that we have a secure enough panel to measure the energy metabolism that should be done very seriously every day that you go see your family doctor. You should be measuring that as well to see if your health and your mitochondrial health is in good shape. And if not, then treat it seriously as we treat it when a cholesterol is not good.
That's a bold vision. I appreciate that. So today we have Team Mito is going to be out running for those who can't, attempting a new Guinness World Record to raise awareness and funds for mitochondrial disease. What words of inspiration do you have for the people watching this broadcast and the importance of the dollars needed to support mitochondrial research?
Go get it. It's as important as is to prevent your heart to stop working. If you actually think that you should have a health life because you want to prevent a heart attack, then it's the same thing as to just prevent your mitochondria to failure. So if you believe that you want to have a health life, you believe you want to have a health mitochondria. So every dollar you put it in today, it counts towards have a mission that will prevent life to be better instead to wait for a disease to come and treat it when it's impossible to treat.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Anna. I can now see the all the good things that I've heard from people like Marilyn, and I talked to Constantine, who had great things to say about you. I also had Blaine saying so many good things about you, and so we're happy that you took the time to come and speak with us tonight. We appreciate your flexibility and being able to meet with you virtually.
It's a pleasure. It's
Okay.
a pleasure to be here, and thank you very much for all the time that you put in forth to make this possible.